As the school year comes to an end and the exam grades come back, it can seem like everything has become so still. Like if you move too quickly, everything will shatter like a delicate glass film reflecting the light of the sun, producing a rainbow of beauty in the comfortable wind. And as the summer light peeks through the blinds and catches the attention of your eye, it reminds you of the days and times when it used to sting your skin, restoring the color that was drained away by the late nights of studying, the long days of struggling. The subtle scent of the air conditioning pumping through the house reminding you of the days when summer was a time of relaxing and food. A time when there was no overwhelming sense of dread that overtakes the fight or flight nervous system and the sudden shock of coming to a stop with the incessant increased energy from a restful night and a refreshing cool shower that tickles your spine as it wrestles to escape the heat. It reminds you of a time of infinite possibility, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to binge. Now, I really didn't have any intention of watching this show, but looking for something lighthearted to quench my summer boredom, I decided to give a show that had so many raving reviews a try. And at first, I thought it was a bit slow, and I didn't really like it. I wasn't impressed at all. But as I continued to watch the show and see the characters develop and the story progress, I began to really appreciate the slowness of the show and realized that something that seemed so pointless was actually the point of the show. Obviously, what makes Frieren so unique is that the show doesn't focus on the rising action as the heroes go to a climactic battle to defeat the Demon King. It instead focuses on a part of the story that is so easily brushed under the rug, and that's the falling action, the time after the heroes have already come home, an era of peace. And I really appreciated that. And I appreciate it so much so that I realized that it was because of the show hitting me just at the right time. As I am coming to an end of my college days and I only have a year or two left, I'm really starting to think about what do I want to do with my life. And this show does an elegant job of putting a single human lifetime into perspective, the perspective of eternity, the perspective of an infinite amount of time. What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to make decisions? How do we choose what spells to cast? Why do we do anything that we do? And amongst all of these wonderful questions about a human lifetime and what it means to be a hero and what to do with your life, I think one idea really stood out to me, and that is magic is a visual art. こたびはよくぞ魔王を打ち倒した。これで Frieren takes place in a world where magic is commonplace. The only way to get stronger is to practice, and the longer you practice, the more magical mana you can gain. It's a game of time. How much time can you spend developing this skill? The people who can spend the longest times are the most powerful people. However, unlike other magical systems I've seen, the magic used in this show is not just based on what spells you can learn, but rather what spells you can imagine. It is in this sense the idea of time and imagination that Frieren most elegantly represents a world that is analogous to the one that we live in today, to demonstrate the true essence of magic in a world so filled with magical things. We too live in a world of magic. There may not be wands and witches, warlocks, or wizards. Okay, that may not entirely be true. But magical occurrences happen every day. Frieren postulates that magic is only possible by the belief of its possibility. If someone doesn't believe that they can penetrate an impenetrable cloak, then they won't be able to. If a person cannot think of moving each of their hairs individually using magic, they don't. If they can't imagine a type of flower to cast, they can't. And if they don't believe that they can defeat an enemy, they won't. It is not required to be immensely powerful or incredibly wise to execute a spell that is seemingly impossible. It only requires the faith that the spell is a possibility within one's capability. And we as humans are more well suited for such a feat than any other. We live in a world of magic where just a thought can break the structure of the amorphous void of nothing like a sigh on a dandelion. For a thought made concrete becomes a reality. Without a thought, without belief, without faith, there would be nothing. Something as intangible as the magic itself. Magic is a manifestation of a hope, a dream, a desire made real, rather than it returning to its most comfortable state, withering and rotting in the pits of vacuity. All things come from a thought that someone could do what no one else could do before. This in itself is the very definition of a magician in this world, a person with the capability to cast the spell of their own fruition onto the world around them, altering their part of the eternity of time and the infinity of space, a dent in space-time saying, I was here. Is why we as humans so desperately want to use magic to become the greatest mage, to become a hero. Because we only have so much time and can only take up so much space. Although it may not seem like it when a day takes so long to pass, it is so utterly clear when you look at your lifetime, a grain of sand in the infinity hourglass of eternity like Frieren does. How much could change in just a measly 10 years? Yet, to us, time is a precious resource, one that cannot be wasted. It is because of this urgency that we feel that we must strive to do more, to go beyond the journey's end. It is why humans make the greatest magicians. Because we have to dream, and we don't have time to test every possibility, to try every hypothesis, to run every experiment until we can make a belief into a theory, and a theory into a fact. It is why humans always win against eternity. We pass off what we had to the next generation, we remind them of what we have done, we leave them with the burden of hope to remind them that
でも一番の理由は君が未来で一人ぼっちにならないようにするためかな。
何それ？
おとぎ話じゃない。僕たちは確かに実在したんだ。
that there is a possibility of an even greater tomorrow, so they too can cast spells that change the world around them to make things even just a little bit better, even if it's in the most insignificant way. So in the time that we do have, we must choose what spells we must cast, get the grimoires we need to go off what we have and what we can think of, and nothing more. So the question is never how many or how much, but how do we choose the right ones? How do we choose what spells to cast? We have to spend our lives effectively because
一緒に旅しただけだし。人間の寿命は短いって分かっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
we don't want to live with regret. We don't want to spend our whole lives deciding what to do. A man who worries too much about his moves of the past is a depressed man. A man who worries too much about his future is an anxious man. A man who worries too much about his past and future is a dead man. A man trapped in his own time loop, frozen in never-ending dread. Yet a man who doesn't think about his past is ignorant. A man who doesn't think about his future is a fool. And a man who doesn't think about his past or future is a dead man, frozen in a catatonic state of emptiness. You cannot progress in life if you spend too much time thinking or too little. So we have to just do something and find the motivation to do it. So why do we do what we do?
フリーレン様はなぜ魔法を集めているのですか？ただの趣味だよ。そうは思えません。本当にただの趣味だよ。前はもっと無気力にダラダラと生きていたんだけどね。私の集めた魔法を褒めてくれたバカがいた。それだけだよ。くだらない理由ですね。そうだね。
It may seem as though all the greatest people decided what they wanted to do, to transform from a mere person into a legend, a myth, a story from the time they were born because they were born, like they were made to be extraordinary. Yet, even a hero is a person, and people are not so different. The reason why we change our outfits is the same reason why we change the world. We just want something different, something that we don't have. We have a desire, and so even for the stupidest of reasons, we'll read all the grimoires, we'll train every day, and we'll fail over and over and over again until Yet we do the most breathtaking, awe-inspiring, shocking feats, not by some grand revelation, not with a bang, but but with a whimper. The inescapable human need to belong, to have purpose, to feel needed. We do them because.
私は今の話をしている。
だから俺はよ、師匠の代わりにくだらなくて楽しい旅をたくさん経験して、土産話をたっぷりと持って帰らないとダメなんだ。俺にできる恩返しはこのくらいだからさ。
じいさん、なんでそこまでして一級魔法使いになりたいんだよ。富も権力も欲しいものは何だって持っているんだろ。
久々に墓参りに行きたかった。それだけだ。
フォルジーはなんでこの村を守っているんだ？
昔の話だ。どうでもいいだろう、そんなこと。
人はどうでもいいことに命をかけない。
わしは妻の愛した村を守っているだけだ。滑稽な話だろう。わしはずっと死者との約束を守っている。
そうだね。
So even if it is for the stupidest of reasons, the only thing we can genuinely ask ourselves.
会いに行ってもいないのに諦めるんだ。まだたったの10年だよ。今会いに行かないと近い未来に後悔するよ。あの時ならまだ間に合ったのかもしれないって。なんで今更って思っているでしょう。私は今の話をしているんだよ、ザイン。
We cannot linger on what we could be, and we cannot linger on what used to be. We can only ask ourselves about right now. What will we do right now? Only limited by what we can imagine, what we can believe. That is of the very few things that are truly real, because we live in a world of magic, and magic is a visual art. So we have to take what is right in front of us and ask ourselves, what can we do right now? What can we do to make the impossible possible? Because that's what it means to live in a world where magic is a possibility. We can choose who we want to be and what we want to do about it. Because maybe, just maybe, it isn't so stupid. Because the realest form of magic is love, fear, and sorrow. These chemical reactions in our brain are release of hormones in our body. They aren't real. But to believe that science can just explain something so complex is to be in a world without magic, because science doesn't explain why they make us feel the way they do. They don't explain why they feel so real, why they allow us to do magic that impacts the world around us. There's nothing more real than that. Maybe, just maybe, it's okay to take some time to think about what you want to do and how it makes you feel, because we think that if we just move fast enough, that relativity will kick in and the world will slow down. Then we'll have more time. But no one can move that fast. So maybe what we really seek is just to slow down, to experience every moment and appreciate what you have. Because for humans, a lot can change in a measly 10 years. And you don't want to let that slip by pursuing powerful spells. Maybe instead, you can pursue the ones that make the world just a little bit more beautiful, to get to know the person right next to you and experience their magic. Especially in a world of dwarves and elves, mages and demons, or a world of money and fame, science and technology, humans and heroes. There's nothing more real than what we feel for each other, because that is what causes us to dream. That is what causes us to imagine. That is what causes us to believe. The visual art of magic. Hello everybody, thank you for watching the video. If you made it all the way here to the end, I'm really grateful that you took the time of your day to go and sit and watch my stupid little ramble about a show that I enjoyed. But I really enjoy making these videos and I would love to make more content like this in the future, but they take so much time and so I often get really discouraged with my very busy schedule to continue making these. But if you guys really like this, please just leave a like, let me know in the comment section if you liked it, and also let me know what other shows I should do so that I can have time to prepare by watching the show and preparing these videos. But given that I really enjoy making these videos, I've just decided that I'm going to try and post these with a little bit more frequency. I have a few other ones planned coming up in the future, so I will try and get these out instead of like a 1 year apart type of thing, and try and get these out at a more regular basis. But once again, thank you for watching this video, and please let me know if you enjoyed and have any suggestions so I can improve and continue making these videos in the future. But that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. See you later, and bye.
ならこんなところで足止めはいけませんね。
あの人はまだまだ長生きしそうだけどな。